This is your definitive video on the moon matrix, the soul
I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour.
trap,
Trap. I thought you were gonna say trade.
and reincarnation.
Oh, no way! Please subscribe.
Here are the facts.
Facts? I doubt it. I've seen your videos before, but carry on.
Fact number 1. There are many ancient mythological stories about two fish brothers who brought the moon to Earth.
And you don't think the fact that you yourself just referred to them as mythological stories kind of discredits everything else you're going to say in this video?
During this time, there were many catastrophic events that occurred on Earth, which would track because the gravitational pull that the moon would put on the Earth would definitely shift it and cause earthquakes, volcanoes, and many other natural disasters.
Well, there have been lots of catastrophic events during Earth's history. Can you be a little bit more specific?
These two fish brothers, the gods formerly known as Enki and Enlil, then threatened the people and said if they misbehaved too much, they would pull the moon away and great catastrophes would occur once again.
What was it you said about facts? Well, there isn't a direct match in any well-known mythologies for two fish brothers bringing the moon to Earth. Not really sure why that surprises me, but you were saying?
Which would again track scientifically. If you remove the moon from the Earth's orbit, the Earth would go through tons of catastrophic changes.
Hang on a second, what? Because the science kind of lines up, because if the moon was to disappear, it would be a very bad day here on Earth. But you think that that means that this mythological tale might be true, or is true?
Fact number 2.
What? Fact number 2, but number 1 wasn't a fact. And I've got to ask, because I've watched quite a few of your videos, why is it you always seem to film outside as well? Are you like CC? And what I mean by that is, does your wife think you're also an idiot, so you're too embarrassed to film in your house and that's why you do it outside?
Just stop this bullshit. Christ. Idiot.
Two astrophysicists studied the moon, the sun, and the Earth,
I don't think I've heard this one.
and concluded that the moon almost absolutely had to be built by an intelligent species.
Well, that wasn't much of a punchline. I mean, I'm not saying that it wasn't funny, because it was, but I thought you were setting us up for a science type joke. Try it like this next time. Two men walk into a bar. The first one says, "I'll have some H2O, please." And the second man said, "I'll have some H2O too." The second man died.
Fact number 3.
You don't actually know what fact means, do you?
It has been proven that during the full moon, people tend to be more aggressive and there is a significant increase in emergency room visits.
By who? The idea that people act more aggressively and have more emergency room visits during a full moon is a popular belief, often referred to as the lunar effect. But scientific studies on the topic have produced mixed results, and there is no conclusive evidence to support the notion that the full moon directly influences human behavior in specific ways. I know, I was shocked as well. A conspiracy theorist getting it wrong.
This is why people think the moon is a control system. It's got control system written all over it.
Must be on the back of the moon then, because I've never seen anything written on it.
It has a very strange origin story about fish brother god alien people that were using it to control people, and it changes our psychology based on its phase.
Now, science has got multiple ideas about where our moon actually came from. The fission theory suggests... Hang on a second, I think I can see your confusion. It's the fission theory, not the Fish Brothers theory. Anyway, the fission theory suggests that the Earth had been spinning so fast that some material broke away and began to orbit the planet. But the giant impact theory is the most widely accepted today, and this theory proposes that the moon formed during a collision between the Earth and another small planet about the size of Mars. Fish Brothers. Huh.
Does that mean we're all trapped in a moon matrix? Not exactly, but the moon has profound effects on the Earth and on our psychology.
How can you be right and wrong all in one sentence? Yes, the moon does have a massive impact on the Earth. It controls our tides, the length of our days, and it has biological influences. But as I just explained, there is absolutely no evidence that suggests that our moon has an effect on our behavior.
So the moon doesn't create a matrix like in the movie, but it does cast a matrix upon the Earth and upon us.
So the moon doesn't cast a matrix on us like it does in the movie. And by the way, the Matrix movie wasn't a documentary, but it does cast a matrix on the Earth and us. How does that work then?
That matrix is mostly invisible,
Well, that's handy.
causing natural forces like gravity and whatever strange light is coming from the moon that's colder than the rest of the surface of the Earth.
You know, it must be awesome to be a flat earther because they just seem to know everything. Now, gravity is often described as a force in classical physics, particularly in the context of Newton's law of universal gravitation. But in the realm of modern physics, gravity is also understood through the lens of Albert Einstein's theory of general relativity. And according to general relativity, gravity is not a force in the traditional sense, but rather the effect of the curvature of space-time caused by mass and energy. So how exactly is it that you claim to know things that even science doesn't fully understand? Did you realize how stupid that makes you seem? And as for the moon's temperature, don't be a dick. The only light coming from the moon is the sunlight that it reflects.
Now let's get into the idea of the soul trap, and fact number 4. The soul trap is actually just one of 3 belief systems that stem out of the idea that reality is in fact a dream.
Hang on a second, I can already tell that this is going to give me a massive headache.
There are 3 schools or disciplines that each have their own interpretation of what the implications of that are.
Anybody got a paracetamol?
In the Gnostic tradition, it is believed that yes, we are trapped here. This is a sort of prison or farm.
Gnosticism is like ancient spiritual hacking. Now, back in the early Christian days, Gnostics believed that we all had a divine spark from the ultimate good God. But we are stuck in a world crafted by a cosmic oopsie-daisy god, the Demiurge. Their mission? To unlock secret knowledge, or Gnosis, to escape the cosmic bad vibes and reconnect with the divine Wi-Fi. It's all about finding that spiritual cheat code to free the divine spark trapped in the human arcade. Which, to me, sounds like a load of old waffle, but what do I know?
One of the main justifications by the Gnostics for this conclusion is things have to suffer in order for other things to live.
What the hell do you mean, the conclusion? What conclusion? All that is a religious idea. But I do agree with you about people having to suffer for... Well, I'm suffering now by watching your video.
For instance, the herbivores have to eat plants, but the plants are living, and how conscious are they? Are they feeling pain?
Now, I'm a little bit torn with this one, because part of me wants to say no, plants absolutely don't have consciousness or feel pain, because they don't have brains or nervous systems. But then another part of me really hopes that they do, because, well, that vegan teacher springs to mind. She'd be screwed for a start, wouldn't she?
And then the predators eating the herbivores, of course they're feeling pain. We can understand that. They're going through torment and suffering.
Yeah, I'm sure they do suffer when they get eaten by another animal, but that's nature for you. It's cruel.
The Gnostics thought because this was inherent in order for us to live, and that suffering was inherent, then this place had to ultimately be a place of suffering.
Yeah, and you think the Earth is flat, but it isn't, so...
But there are 2 other schools, the Abrahamic and the Vedic. The Abrahamic thought the opposite of what the Gnostics thought. They thought that ultimately this was a story with a happy ending.
Now that sounds like something I could get behind, because who doesn't love a happy ending?
And if you lived a righteous life, you would transcend this one and go to an even greater place, an unimaginably greater place in heaven.
Interesting that you used the words unimaginable and heaven in the same sentence.
Then there is the 3rd school of thought, which is the one I tend to lean more towards, and I call it Vedic, but it's Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, the Egyptian mystery schools. And that's the idea that this is a dream in some neutral sense, that we can dream whatever we want to dream. And the reason we're here is because God felt alone, and then he spread himself out across all of existence and made little pieces of consciousness so he could play hide and seek with himself.
Hang on a second, something smells fishy here, and it's not the Fish Brothers from earlier on in this video. How the hell has God got time to play with himself? He's meant to be watching over all 8 billion people who live on Earth. How does he even fit it into his day?
I like this one the most because it empowers us the most. It doesn't damn us to a hell that we can't escape, but it also doesn't give us false hope in a heaven that might not exist. It tells us that we are the creators. We are the magicians, and we are little pieces of God, majestic, divine beings.
Well, whatever floats your boat. You mentioned earlier something about reincarnation. Are we gonna get to that soon?
And now reincarnation.
Finally!
Here are the facts, and these are a bit strange.
You don't say.
The Buddhists believe, as explained in their Tibetan Book of the Dead, that it takes 49 days for you to traverse the bardos, the in-between world, to go from one life to the next.
Hang on a second, you just said, here are the facts. How can they be facts when this is just another religious belief?
What's very interesting about that is the fact that 49 days after conception, the baby in the womb becomes a male or a female.
Now, I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I am saying that you're not right. The biological sex of a baby is determined at conception, not on day 49, and it's based on the combination of sex chromosomes contributed by the sperm and the egg. The egg contributes an X chromosome, while the sperm can contribute either an X or a Y chromosome. If the sperm that fertilizes the egg carries an X chromosome, the resulting XX combination leads to a female baby. If the sperm carries a Y chromosome, the XY combination results in a male baby. But it's at the moment of conception, not day... What the hell?
And on that same day, a massive amount of DMT is released from the baby.
Seriously? Now you're just making things up. The idea that babies start their own little psychedelic DMT party on day 49 of pregnancy is more speculation than science. Imagine tiny little fetuses with party hats on, courtesy of philosopher Terence McKenna's wild imagination, not actual lab-coated researchers. Science hasn't RSVP'd to the party yet, so for now it's just a myth from the far-out realms of the internet. Terence McKenna speculated on the significance of the 49th day in relation to Tibetan Buddhist beliefs about the soul entering the fetus and the pineal gland beginning to form in the brain, linking these ideas to DMT. But the ideas are speculative and not based on any empirical scientific research.
And many people have believed for thousands of years, even modern scientists, that DMT might act as a sort of window for the soul.
DMT, or dimethyltryptamine, is like the Willy Wonka chocolate of the psychedelics world, naturally occurring in many plants and is speculated to be produced in tiny amounts in human brains, and it's known for causing intense, brief trips to Neverland without ever leaving your couch. Now, researchers first synthesized DMT in the 1930s, but it wasn't until the 1950s that its psychedelic properties were discovered, and early studies were a mix of, whoa, what just happened, to let's see if this can help with mental health issues.
But what about this idea of a personal, individual reincarnation from one specific life to the next? Do I believe every person that tells me that in a past life they were a pharaoh? No, not at all.
That actually surprises me.
So you might have been Shakespeare in a past life, but it was far more likely that you were like 10 heads of lettuce.
That explains a lot, actually. And not about me, I mean about the people I make videos on.
I think God reincarnates all the time, in and out of everything.
But how does he find the time? First of all, God's busy playing with himself, and now he's in and out of everything.
So what do I think about the moon matrix, the soul trap, and reincarnation as a whole?
Cool.
I think we need to dream bigger. I think we need to start opening our minds and hearts more and play with our imagination, like when we were kids.
Now, there's nothing wrong with using your imagination, but when using your imagination overtakes your grasp on reality, it becomes a bit of a problem.
I think we've all put ourselves into a lot of nasty corners with some bad ideologies.
Yeah, and if this video doesn't illustrate that, then I don't know what does, because religion, believing that the earth is flat, they don't seem like good ideologies, do they?
I think that if we all convinced ourselves of a new religion, a new spiritual cosmology, that it will become true, because consciousness, language, words are the fundamental basis of our creation. And so whatever story we tell ourselves and believe is the story that eventually becomes true.
Wait, that's it? I hate videos with abrupt endings. Oh, you're still here then. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe even learned something new. If you did, then you'll probably enjoy this video as well. Don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't already, and subscribe if you're new. And I will see you all again very soon, or in a few minutes if you do decide to watch this recommended video. Love you, bye.